Hello, everyone. This is your new moon tarot guidance for the new moon in Cancer occurring at 18 degrees Cancer on July 9th, 2021, July the 10th for those in Australia. So, just how great is this new moon, you might ask? Well, we have a number of different things to talk about. First of all, it's at home. Cancer is home to the moon, so we will need to throw in some bonus points there. No major aspects happening on this day, but we do have one the day before to talk about. And also, it's not an eclipse. So on the 8th, and I have mentioned this elsewhere as well, there is a square between Venus and Uranus, and it can be felt a couple days before and a couple days after, so it is going to be in play around the time of this new moon. And Uranus, as soon as you hear Uranus, you think of that need to break out and to break free. And Venus, of course, is love and money. Now, if you're in a relationship that's not on the best footing, this can really contribute to any issues, and the new moon can exacerbate that. And if you're in a really good relationship, you probably won't even notice when it comes to this. From the money aspect, it's important to remember to not let yourself just, go on a shopping spree, so to speak. You may wish to stay off of Amazon for a few days. The moon itself will sextile Uranus on this day, and it's a more social aspect. And if you're out and about, you may find that you meet some very unusual people, and that even you yourself are more able to act out of character, spontaneously, that type of thing. Also, I would say keep a pen and paper handy, or your phone with your notes app, that type of thing, because it's very possible to just did you ever have an idea come up in your head and 30 seconds later you're like, what was I just thinking? Right? At least that happens to me. So, be ready to make note of what it was, because it's very possible you could have these kind of just flashes of whatever, and yeah, you want to note them. It is interesting to me looking at the cards that I have put down so far, because they kind of reflect some of what I was just speaking about. With Uranus in play at this new moon, there is definitely a sense of adventure about, that spontaneity. So, road trip maybe? Who knows? You're liable to do just about anything. Relationships are definitely on the menu here. And, twists and turns are always there. You might want to stop and have lunch with someone that you're close to, maybe even mend some fences. And the reason that I say that is that, if you've had an outlook that's kind of like, love sucks or whatever, I don't know, that kind of thing, or, you feel like you've been on the outs with someone, there's something special in the air that the universe has on tap, right? A renewal of a relationship, perhaps, but being more optimistic and having a better outlook is more possible, because it allows you to just clear away all that crap, right? And be ready for what? Oh, there's so much coming. I love that there's a great deal of clarity with this new moon. You no longer have Mercury in any type of retrograde. It will be leaving Gemini 2 days after the new moon and moving on to Cancer, so that will be a welcome relief, and you're going to feel it, with things just totally moving forward. So, yeah, there is... I don't feel like it's right at the new moon. I feel like it's more at the time of the full moon, because I try to make these readings cover 2 weeks, from one moon to the next. And I have discussed this elsewhere before, probably in the Love and Finance, but that full moon will be the first of 2 in Aquarius. It'll be on the 23rd, and it will be at 1 degree Aquarius, with the second one being August 22nd at 29 degrees Aquarius. So we're in a very interesting time frame here. And I want you to make note, because I know everybody always contacts me about intentions and everything like that. I would work specifically with this new moon to begin new things. I'd say within at least 5 days. Okay, so by the 14th, all right, try to keep it within that time frame. Anytime within the 2 weeks is good, but obviously the power of the new moon is lessening. And, the reason is, and I'm going to get ahead of myself here, that next month, when we have our new moon, it's happening at, let me see here, I got 10 different things going on at once. Anyway, it's going to be in Leo, and it's going to square Uranus. What did I just say about this one? The Cancer one. It's going to sextile Uranus. Sextiles are much more pleasant than squares. Squares are difficult, and whereas either one can bring up moodiness, in people, this one, the moodiness is more likely to come with outbursts and just, it just can get a little testy. So I would really try to focus on moving forward with this month's new moon and try to keep the schedule a little bit lighter when next month comes around. So, now, yeah, I would say about the 23rd, 24th, you're really standing up for what you believe in, like where you're managing to do things according to plan, according to your vision. There's a lot that's going on here. By then the sun will be in Leo, by the way, okay? By the time that time period has elapsed. But in this 2-week time frame, there's a tremendous amount of activity, and you're going to see just how fast things are going with Mercury back at full speed. Communication is on overload. But when it moves into Cancer, and that's so close to this new moon, it can become emotional, okay? And just because this is a really good new moon, I'm not going to tell you that it will be without, your cranky people or your emotional people. Uranus is really going to help you to break down some barriers. So sometimes, that Uranus energy is good, because you can keep yourself in the same spot and talk yourself out of stuff over and over and over again until all of a sudden one day you just jump up and do it. Okay? It happens. It really truly happens. But the universe has a hand in this. There's a lot of creativity that's around. Sometimes you just got to throw things out there until they stick as well. So, just don't let, because I see what can hold you back, what can keep you stuck, and it's you, all right? You could call them bad habits. It could be procrastination. It could be, what do you do to sabotage the happiness that you seek? So there are reminders that are here, but goodness me, I'm telling you, you really do need to pay attention, because the universe is going to show you the path to success. It's going to show you, like I said, those brilliant, insights, those flashes of brilliance, whatever. Pay attention, be ready, all right? This allows you to, it's like not that far apart, closing doors and opening new ones. So it's almost simultaneously. Something's happening here. I'm telling you, this is a very interesting time period, and it's like between now and the end of July, whatever it is that's going on. You want to proceed with, I know this is an adventure and you're jumping right in, but you also want to be meticulous in how you handle everything. You want to dot your I's, cross your T's, and all of that stuff. But this is definitely a story that's linked. Wow, there's love in here as well. love of whatever, I do not know. But it could be love of work, love of people. But a great deal is happening between this new moon and the coming full moon. I mean, a lot. All right? And like the universe is showing you the way to fulfill your own wishes. Life is always changing, it's always evolving, and any plans, they always need to be tweaked, right? I think if you are someone who can keep your emotions balanced, you'll do very, very well with this time period. If you're not, you know, like keeping them at bay and being able to stuff them, I suppose, would be helpful. Some of what's going on isn't ready to be seen yet, okay? Now, it can be some of your stuff. I think it's everybody. You know how I'm always telling you there are things going on behind the scenes that you don't know about. And you need to, you know, keep a weather eye on everything, but you can't control what you don't know either. Yeah. So there's a lot that is here, but wanting to tackle things with a vengeance, I have no problem with that at all, because the result will be manifestation, but it comes through those two words that people always go, yeah, okay, persistence and determination, but it is bringing something that's rock solid. I love this because there are beginnings. I'm telling you, there are beginnings that are not yet revealed. You know, this is like your plan for abundance, so to speak. And I really meant what I said about throwing things out there until they stick. Do not feel that if you make a plan that it has to be so rigid, because if you're rigid, it isn't going to work. You need to be able to. I remember years ago, I had a young lady that worked for me, and I was busy beyond belief. And she would say, how do you do it? And I said, do what? She said, well, every morning when we get here at 3 a.m., you have a plan. But then by the time people start showing up at 6 a.m., you are able to just wing it and adjust it as you go. And that's what you have to do sometimes in life. You can't be so set on what that plan is. You have to be able to manage your own reactions and your own flow. And I think if you can do that, that's where the success lies. When you are creating what you want, remember to be true to yourself. Remember to remain balanced. There is something to be said here for not being over the top, not going overboard. Some things may hit the mark, some things may not, but I most definitely see success for you. And I think where it really feels good is in October, okay? So if you don't look at this like some short-term fix that you're going to do something one day and life is going to be hunky-dory the next, I think you'd be quite content in October, because, and you know how I like to get ahead of myself, it's going to bring a big turning point. I can't wait until we see more about that. But, you know, I'd say that in these next couple of weeks, you know, by the end of the month, you are working on putting any losses and betrayals behind you and, you know, being in charge. And it's funny because it's definitely all about your free will. It has a lot to do with it, how you choose, what you choose to do. And when I see this, I'm just like, you know, the potential for change, sometimes it's all in the timing. These could be things that you've wanted to do for a very long while, and then all of a sudden, it just sort of sinks, right? And it's working, but it doesn't work as smooth maybe as you'd like. So like I said, you have to tweak it. So it is time to chart a course away from the past. You know, really hoping to set things straight, okay? But like, we're talking about a whole new perspective here. You may have to give some things up in order to get what you want. Now, we always have all these new beginnings in these stories. And this new moon is definitely bringing one. What I want to look at here is where you're at in 4 months. Let's say July, August, September, October, okay? And where that puts you. October brings a new moon in Libra. Oh, yes, there it is. And if we do 4 full months, right? Thinking that 1 month is from July to August, so on and so forth. Then that puts you at the new moon in Scorpio, happening on November the 4th at 12 degrees Scorpio. I want you to really try to pay attention to what happens between this new moon and that Scorpio new moon, all right? Because when that Scorpio new moon comes, the moon itself is going to be conjunct Mars. And I think that, that can work in your favor at that time. I also think that it could be an issue with some people at that time, presenting some challenges. But I feel that the result of what you're doing from, I want to say today, but this is coming out, before the day of the new moon, but from the new moon, and then if you count, right? So it gives you that where you can breathe again and, maybe put your feet up, all right? Feeling much better about things. So, that hitting October, and remember I said there's a turning point in there. Something's going on. So you have all these various stories of your life, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes when we go from day to day, we don't see them, we don't recognize them, which is why I'm telling you to pay close attention to what's going on with you at this time in what you do. Now, whatever challenges arise, whatever I want to say confusion there is, because it's almost like when you look at things in life and you feel like you're in a rut. I'm tired of things being this way, but trying to figure out what to choose. Now, that's an issue, and that is very Neptune related. Now, in this 2-week time frame from the new moon to the full moon, there are 2 major aspects, which include Neptune. The first is a trine between the Sun and Neptune on the 15th, and that is a very creative and social aspect. And I think that you'll find that it makes for better relationships. People are more caring, more compassionate. So pay attention now. It'll be much easier to, be around people, get along with people. And of course that figures into whatever you're doing and making things feel better. The second occurs on the 24th as a trine between Mercury and Neptune. And I think that's the one that I'm seeing here in the cards, because it's not the perfect time for, doing things that involve critical thinking, facts, figures, signing documents, that type of thing. But it is much better for any creative pursuits. So if you're really trying to figure out, what am I going to do here? How am I going to handle this? I think that you'll find that that particular aspect helps you a great deal. There is no should I go or should I stay going on here. You're definitely going somewhere. You're choosing direction for sure, even if it means you have to do it on your own. And that may very well be. It reminds me of like when you get a bunch of politicians together and nothing happens because no one can agree on anything, right? So it's just like, emerging from that. Leave all that over there. Let everybody else squabble over whatever. And I'm going to leave that tension behind. I'm choosing to go this way. This is where my goals are in this direction. This is where my future lies in this direction. And I'll tell you what, no matter how much is involved, you're not going to mind doing it, okay? I think that it's like the reward, because boy, these cards are something today, is yours. Nobody else can claim it. So there is, it's like when someone leaves the light on for you and you're moving past. I'm looking at this and I see some wonderful relationships that are around. So it doesn't mean you're leaving everybody and you're going to be solo. And it's almost like people's minds need to be changed. All right, I don't know how to explain that, but when you can't influence outcomes and people cannot agree on anything, but there's this bringing them together, and I say that's happening like by September's full moon. All right, so there is this much more meticulous, like getting everything. It becomes much more methodical and putting it's probably when the Virgo energy's around, and that's just like getting each ingredient of what needs to be done very carefully, very precise. Okay, so big changes. I feel like there are some amazing lessons in here, not just about abundance and rewards, because the rewards are most definitely there, but they come through your belief in yourself and not backing down when others challenge you, over what you're doing. Okay, so if you break from the pack and say, this is what I need to do, just, keep your head up. Do not engage. How many times have I told you this? Do not engage. When people want to point the finger, you just say, thank you and have a nice day. And one of the other things that I want to remind you of before I go is that, all of the seeds that you've been planting at these new moons, and I feel like this one's important because, like I said, the next one I think I would be holding back a little bit, is that not everything comes to fruition at the same time. So I think that makes it even more enjoyable. It's like having Christmas and everything all over the place, right? So, definitely give everything its proper care, and you'll see that the rewards are definitely there. So I want to thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you again real soon. Take care.